Alright, I got some inventory management tips for you guys that's really going to help me out and hopefully not waste any of your materials in the process. So hey guys, it's Daniel, thank you so much and welcome to Dragonmore Gaming and doing the Dyson Sphere program. And as you can see, so we're back on the home planet. I did a little bit of work kind of offline, just kind of helping out some production, right, that I wanted to get a couple more things automated. So you come down here, you can see I added... yeah, I can automate splitters now, and this is the secret I found for inventory management. So this little slider here, you can actually control the max that the automation, like the factories and stuff, will deposit in that inventory. Now what I found this is really helpful is that you don't want thousands and thousands of parts just sitting in your inventory like this thing. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get rid of this, and I'm just sitting there like, well, I can't just put it all in my inventory. How do I get it on the belt, and how do I get it using? And so I found a way. So you come over here. There we go. And I did it the same thing with this guy. And as you can see, so when you block it out, you use this slider, and it'll have the certain amount of inventory in your storage that you will allow it to use. And if you notice, but you can still, you yourself as the player can actually still use that full inventory value. So I took this whole inventory of these things that I made, which of course is way too many, and I put them in this box here, and I set the automation down to only just 2 stacks. So this represents 2 stacks, and as you can see, I basically made it like a buffer. So I have a Mark II sorter that puts them in, so when they do finally get down to the correct value of that, what I want to hold, just the 2 stacks, it'll start putting them in, and then it'll just kind of act as a pass-through. But until then, it is slowly depleting all this stock that I had built up over time. So you don't have to throw it away, you don't have to just put it somewhere and forget about it. You can actually still use it, because these are valuable materials, right? So if you guys like me, so you can if you don't need a whole lot of a certain good, like come over here. I actually I automated the power poles too, just because I got tired of just building those manually too. So I have it just I just want 2 stacks of the power poles and then 2 stacks of the advanced power poles, just so I can always have some available. I can come get them. And as you can see, it will not make any more than that. So the box will not pick up any more, which backs up the factories, so they don't make any more. And you can start to see that the goods will start to back up as well. Okay, so great. So if you do have a situation like, I was going to show you the glass thing. So pretty simple right here just to kind of show, but I want to do it again here for you. So if you have, I have the glass as the same situation. So I'm going to say, I only want, so it's, I had it full and it's just like, why am I doing that? So I'm going to set it all the way down to just like 3 stacks, I guess. In case for some reason I need glass, and I actually do have some glass still, so I should probably even try to put that away. Okay, but all you have to do, whoop, wrong button, hit X, get your delete tool out, and then actually I like to delete the middle one. Alright, so sorry, let me put that back. So you just delete that middle guy, and then you just take the, I like to use the Mark IIs for this because the belt does run pretty fast. It runs faster than a Mark I. So you have it come in and you have it go out. And because it is over the limit, it will not accept any more, and it'll just slowly deplete this stock instead. And as you can see, and I put it in line, so like for these power poles, you can see I have it limited to 2. So I did this from the beginning. So like once you fix your kind of problem like this, you limit your inventory, you can replace that belt just to make it look better. But if you do it from scratch, I guess the way you're supposed to do it is like this situation here, where I added a box in line in the for the output for the conveyors, and I said, all right, just a little Mark I, just to kind of slowly pull them over time so that they will get used to make the other ones later. And I just set it to, I only want 2 stacks of this, and then it'll just slowly pick them up until it gets to 2 stacks, and then it just won't pick up anymore. And it's been working great. It looks like, and I've maxed them all out, so they're backed up here. So slowly over time that'll get used, but for now, guess we'll just leave it at that. So yeah, so I think so. Since you guys saw the last time we played, so we automated. Yeah, I wanted to automate the power poles, which meant I had to automate the Mark 1 poles, which meant I had to do the, what are these called, the plasma exciters, which meant I also had to do prisms. And then, but we did have glass and stone. And come over here, I did automate foundations as well. I just got tired of making those too. So 3 stack, those stack in 1,000. And I have another stack, a whole stack on me. And you know what? We can have 2 stacks of foundations. That's going to be a lot of foundations. So we won't need to come back for those in a while. And away they go. Fantastic. Okay. So the thing I want to show you guys, so you know, when we last left, we were working towards the logistics station. And the key part of the logistics station again, and this is as of like the 3rd day of the patch that we're recording, and as you can see, we actually have a light that emanates from our Icarus bot now. So thank you to the devs for doing that, so I can actually see in the dark what's going on now. Fantastic. Okay, and then and just to show you guys off real quick too, I wanted to go ahead and pre-set up what I'm going to do for the Mark 2 and 3 belts, as well as the Mark 2 and 3 sorters automated, and then I have the assemblers automated and the splitters automated, just to make my life easier, because I got tired of manually creating everything. So there you go. All right, so the next big thing that we were doing, let's see, for the, if I can find it. So, and they made the logistics station cheaper, so I think it takes a little less of steel and titanium and processors. So, cool. I don't remember if it took 20 of the other thing. I forget what that's even called. But I do have it now, the particle containers, yes. So that's the one thing that we don't have yet, so that we're going to have to get. But right now, and by that I mean we also need the turbines. To get turbines, you need the coils, which we have plenty. And we have that whole inventory, so I wonder if we should actually shoot that into this line instead. Because it'll take a long time to use those up just making power poles that we don't need, and they're already full. Okay, so we'll fix that here in a second. So we need the motors and those coils. And as you can see here, I put this up here. And you can see I kind of pre-connected it here. So this is one of those setups where it takes 3 goods. So I started to make a 3rd belt here. I was like, all right, well, I have 3 goods, so I'll need 3 belts. But this is one of those situations where one of them is gears, which just takes iron, and you're already using iron. So I ended up not needing the 3rd belt. So I'm actually going to get rid of that just to show you. So you don't even need the 3rd belt for this. So what you do is what I have here, where you have a gear that goes directly into the motor factory. And just to kind of recreate it over here, because again, we're going to do this twice, just for double production. And then copy that one. Bam. Okay, so you have a factory that makes gears, and you have a factory that makes the motors. So what you're going to need is a sorter to go from that factory to that factory. So that'll get you your gears. And the reason that works is because you pull, this line's going to be iron. You can see we got the iron set up ready to go to be able to turn these on. So we're going to have iron here, and the gears are going to, yeah, the gear factory is going to pull off the iron. And then this factory, of course, also needs its own iron. So it's going to pull from that same line. And it is a 2 to 1, so 2 to 1 to 1. And so for an even match 2 to 1 to 1, you're going to need to pull the gears off and then transport them. And I think this is far, yeah, 0.75 again in my math is considered the ratio of 1, because that's 2 squares away technically for the sorter. The belt right next to it, if I can click on the sorter, yeah, is the 1.5, so that's our 2 ratio. So we're getting 1 gear per every 2 iron, so that's correct. And then we want one of the we want one of the rails, not rails, what are they called? Magnetic coils. And actually, so we don't need a Mark II for this, actually, we just need a Mark I. Because like I said, if it's a ratio of 1, why don't you, oh, I'm using the wrong thing. Alright. And in we go. Right, so that's our ratio of 1, right? Because it's reaching over, because 0.75, like I said, is my ratio for 1. So that's good. And it's pulling the ratio, the closer belt's pulling the 2. So 2 to 1 to 1. All right. So now we have motors. And if it'll connect. And away we go. All right. Electric motors underway. All right, and as you can see, I've kind of worked the this kind of belt system too. So I have, excuse me. So the motors are going to have to get used over here. I made this factory setup over here for the turbines. Now the turbines take just the 2 goods. Very simple math. It's just the 1-to-1 ratio. So 2 to 2 for the inputs. For the motors and the coils. So we'll need the coils again. And we'll also need the motors that we just made. So I have the motors going over here. So this is going to be my splitter that is actually going to send some motors off to get used for, check it out, the Mark II sorters. So I have plenty of Mark I sorters. And again, before I did the inventory thing, I'm going to set this down to like 3. I don't need that many sorters. Again, I didn't know you could limit the inventory. So even so, it said capacity for automation. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't try it out. Once I tried it out, I was like, oh crap, I need to be using this. So I do recommend using it yourselves, just to limit the amount of inventory and wasted, energy and materials doing that. So these guys, these sorters, will not be working for a long time until all of these get used up. So in the meantime, it's just going to keep pulling from this box. So you can see I'm, now let's see, what are you doing here? Yeah, just to double check. So it's pulling, yeah, this is the output for this one over here. Okay, just making sure that this wasn't connected for some reason. All right, so those get placed into this guy, and I don't think we need 5 stacks of that either. And then this is going to be the Mark III sorters, which need the turbines. And that's good, because that's actually the very next thing we're going to do. All right, so we've started making the Mark II sorters. Those are being automated. And I think we're going to have to drastically increase this production because, oh, JK, we haven't actually put an output for these motors. So no wonder they're not helping. There we go. There they go. All right. Good job, motors. Okay, so now we have double our motor production, but we'll probably need more because, as you can see, it's not actually outputting that fast. So we'll have to do something about that later. But okay, so now we have the motors, and as you can see here, so I have it ready to go for the motors now that I just made, and we have those magnetic coils again, and those are going to come in this way, because the ratio is the same, so it doesn't matter which one's on which belt. What does matter if you want the same ratio is that you have to make sure that you do, if it's a Mark I on the first one, you do the Mark II on the far belt. And again, that's going to give you the 1.5 trips versus the 1.5 trips for the Mark II, not the further away belt. Okay, so that's getting us our 2-to-2 ratio. So that is good to go. And we're just going to go ahead and open it up and let those flow. Whoop, conveyor belts. Boom. And away we go. Now we're going to get turbines. And it would probably help to have an output. You can see it, and I built it right on one of these main longitudinal lines, so the conveyor belt looks a little weird with the build mode on. But anywho. Alright, and you know the drill. So now that we built one, let's build another. Alright. Mark 1 here. Mark 2 here. And then Mark 1 out. Alright. We got it. We're making turbines. Slowly but surely. Alright, so you're like, okay, we got turbines. Now what? So the good news is we've already got one hookup here. So it's actually doing two things. So we're going to need a lot of turbines because the turbines are going to get used for the Mark III sorters. So you can see that we got some turbines coming out here. So that'll start up. We also have it in the splitter going this way, and this is that new factory I just made for the conveyor belts. So I wanted to have, and I have 5 stacks of these conveyor belts. Is probably not bad because we do need a lot of conveyor belts. But I do have this one is going to get me the Mark II belts. And then if we have enough materials over time, I might just like only use the Mark III belts, assuming we have all the materials for that. But let's see, so the Mark III belt, so I have it set up ready to go for like what I want to do, but there's 2 goods that haven't even been made yet. So you can see these are the poor conveyor belts just floating in the air that have nothing to do. So they are unfortunately not going to help us right now. Okay, but so we need to automate super magnetic rings and the graphene. Now the graphene's important because that's actually the next thing we're going to get. And I'll tell you why. Alright, so hopefully... Wow, that's going to take ever to get these going. Yeah, we haven't even made like a single turbine or single... Have we not made any? Oh, they're made. They're just... Okay, this is one of those... Again, it's good to double check your work because there's no outputs for these things. That would be why. There we go. Alright, we're working now. Alright. Now, JK, we don't need that sorter anymore. That was to do the input-output thing if I ever made too many. But we do not have that problem. Not here because we're limiting its inventory. So it's around this exact time that I figured it out, as you can kind of tell. Alright. So that's going to pull from there, and now we have Mark II belts, which I'm going to take some because I will need a few of those at some point, I'm sure. Alright. Okay. So we got turbines going, and I would like to take that whole stack of those magnetic coils and actually put the, what do you call it, the buffer thing, and do it like here. Wherever, can we fit a storage anywhere around here? I mean, we could do it here if we really wanted. Do we need motors for anything else besides turbines? Like, we should probably check that. Oh, and another, so a cool tip, I mean, you guys could probably see it, but just to try to make it crystal clear, when you click on anything in the build menu, it'll tell you, of course, at the bottom what it takes to make it. But as you can see over here up top, it'll actually tell you, what it turns into. And I use this for some of the some of the components. You're like, okay, so what is the prisms will actually turn into either plasma exciters or photon combiners. So you want to make sure that when you're planning your factories that you have the output of these go to like maybe a splitter, because eventually you're going to have to send some here, you're going to have to send some here. So that's what I've started doing, is looking at the little dotted line here to see what it goes to. So we are going to need like some stock of these motors just for not for those are automated, so we don't care about that, but the water pumps. So if we ever want to do our own, build some water pumps, which I'm not really thinking of automating that, at least not currently, just because I don't know if we'll need so many. So we should have, a small inventory of those. So you know what? I am going to do that. So I'm going to limit it to just 1 stack. I love that you can set 0. I don't know what that would do for you, but all right. So we're going to say I only need 1 stack of the motors, please. Okay, cool. All right, so that'll start holding our motors for us. But again, we need to do something about those coils. I do want to use up a whole bunch of these coils. So I don't know that we'll need more than this of the belts, at least for a while. And what we're going to do with the coils is actually temporary anyway. So I'm going to set it to like, and maybe this is where you set it to 0. So the magnetic coils, because do you need magnetic coils? I mean, it's for wind, which who cares? Tesla towers, which we're automating. Matrix labs. So it is good to probably have at least a stack of this here, because I mean, you're not going to be making tons of matrix labs, I don't think. Maybe later in the game, I don't know. And of course the cubes are automated. And wind turbines, I mean, we got solar, right? That should be better. Because between solar at 300 kilowatts, so even if you have less efficient solar, I mean, wow, okay. 360, I didn't... It's probably good to look at these, right? Because if you have 360 on the solar, but you have 300 on wind, those are actually not terribly different. So if you have a planet like the one I'm going to, I wonder if I should... Because that's, you know, one of the next things I want to do is go to... So this is where we have our other base with our silicon and titanium, but over here... You can see this one has, and oh, by the way, this is why we're going here, is this has the rare material fire ice. Hilarious name. But we're going to use that actually to get the graphene. I'll show you that in a second. But the important thing is it actually uses, it's 20% more efficient on wind than it is on solar. So I'm wondering if we should actually have some wind here, because wind's actually going to be more efficient. Quick math is 360 versus 300. Is that 20% different? I will have to check that. 300 versus 360. Alright. I will check that later. So I can't do that math in my head. Blech. I mean, 20% is like... 20% of 100 is 20, so 300 is 60. Okay, so it is 60, so it is 20% more. So it's the same? If it's a 20% difference, then they're like equivalent, I think. I think that's what it's trying to tell me. Okay, maybe I can do that in my head. Alright, so where was I? Okay, so we got, yeah, this thing. These are what we want to grab. Alright, can I grab this whole thing? No. Alright, well, give me... Whoa. Not good. Keep forgetting, you have to have your inventory open if you try to, like, control-click. Otherwise, it'll... Alright, and it has to be specifically what's there. Alright. Now, do I want these up here? I could leave these up here in a stack of 1. And that could be my 1 stack, because I am going to get rid of the other one. Okay. Alright, so this will work out fine. And then what I'll do is I'll just reconnect that and delete the output one, just so it's... because the limiting factor will be the fact that the... right there. So it doesn't force it. Alright, perfect. Alright, so that's where if I need more of those, there is a whole stack of those that I can get and build whatever. We'll come back over here, and we're gonna delete. All right, problem. Well, we can make it really squirrely in the short term until it gets through all its stuff, right? Because we could do. All right, this is what we need to do. This is where they all go. And then I'm like, alright, but I want to be able to get them in there. Just so that it doesn't interrupt the flow. I mean, so it'll look a little janky, but... yeah. So it won't put any in, ever. So this is like the one time I have it set to 0 and it actually sort of makes sense. I'm like, alright, I want to completely deplete my stock of these. This particular... inventory of these magnetic coils, but I still want it to be fully automated, that when I leave the planet that I don't have to remember or think about it. So this thing will come in, and I might as well make that Mark II just so it's gonna come in faster when it does. Okay, perfect. And then of course I got one of those, so throw that in there. Alright, good. Alright, so I think the next thing to do is increase the motors and the turbines just to have even more production of these going on, because no, this is not enough. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and double the production. Yeah, go out to there, and yeah, therefore double the production of these. Okay. Alright. Here. Here. And then we need Mark 1s, right? Yeah. Make sure to set the gears is Mark 1. Yeah, they're all Mark 1s. Okay. Mark 1. Mark 1. Mark 1. Mark 1. Mark 1 and Mark 1. Outputs. Not the gears. That would be a problem. Okay. And of course it needs power. So we'll do here. Alright, and we're online. Alright, and we'll do the same thing over here. Alright. And then sorters. Output. Alright, go ahead and yeah, so Mark 1s and then Mark 2s. Alright. And away it goes. Alright, and we will need some turbines too, so I am going to go ahead and add... I can't put it there apparently. Put it here. Sure, whatever. Alright, limit this to, I think, 1 stack? What are these used for again? Actually, nothing that we're going to make manually. I thought it was going to be the sorters at the belts, but I guess not. Because that we're going to automate that too. So, you know what? I think that's going to be my plan. I'm not going to use any of these automated. I guess that's why I didn't have it. Think of that. Alright, and I'm going to just throw these in here because I don't want them in my inventory. Alright. And it's making some Mark III sorters. Wow, it's already made quite a few. Alright, so let's just grab a full stack of those. That is fantastic. And then we'll need, I guess, a full stack of the Mark IIs. Look at that. We got tons of this stuff now. This is cool. Alright. And then I had... Alright, so the only thing that we haven't automated of this that I do want to do at some point is the Mark II constructors. But we need the graphene for that, right? That's... Yeah. I assume I'm pronouncing that right. Alright, so the graphene you need... So that's the graphite and the sulfur, or sulfuric acid rather. So that'll require like the chemical plants and stuff. But there is a rare recipe. So you guys, when you do play your games, make sure you have check what is your special resource that you start with in your system. So it looks like there's a few different things that you can get, like kimberlite. Okay. Unipolar magnets. What is this? Grading crystals. Alright. Don't know. Optical grading crystals, I guess, is like the special crystal resource. But at least in my game, I got fire ice, which this one requires the fire ice. And this is required in... Where? So it's gathered from the fire ice vein, yes. And this is made where? This is made in the refining facility. Or the chemical facility. It's made in the chemical facility, so I should double check this before I fly off and try to make this thing. So these are chemical plants I had kind of as placeholders. Yep, here it is. So the graphene with the fire ice only takes fire ice, produces hydrogen and graphene. Awesome. And is made in the chemical plant. Alright, well we're going to take these chemical plants with us. And our fuel stores are full. So we're going to figure out what to do about that too. Okay. But at least in the meantime... So I've used a bunch of the hydrogen, and so I didn't limit this one just because I figured I need so much fuel that I would just kind of let this run. Yeah, I might limit this in the future, but this is like the one inventory I'm letting it do its full because the stacks are only in 30 anyway. So I'm gonna take like 3 more of these just for the fuel. Okay. And it's not gonna. Oh, it's not gonna make more hydrogen. And I have all this, so I'm like, I think I'm just gonna do the same thing again. As far as I can tell, oil seems to be infinite. Like there's finite resources, and I'm chewing them up fast on this iron, I feel like. But crude oil, I don't think has changed. At least on my planet, it's always been 28.42. So I think oil is infinite, and that for that reason, I have no problem deleting these storage tanks, which basically deletes the liquid inside. So basically, I'm just like dumping oil on the ground. So I'm terrible at being eco-friendly, apparently. And so now I got those 3 more tanks that I can fill up. Yeah, I'm like, where did the oil go? I don't know. Doesn't matter. All right, so that'll get the hydrogen going again. And as you can see, so I also limited this, so we just had stupid amounts of cubes. I don't even know how many cubes you're gonna have to use in the game, but I'm like, I think 1 row of 10 will be plenty of buffer for these guys. So these are not even gonna use materials for a long time. But we did get yellow, and so once we get the logistics things, the next thing I think I'm gonna do is work on the yellow. And we did have a couple techs that were actually really close, and I paused that just to make sure. But so I think we're about to get a couple more techs that only use the red and the blue. So we're gonna check those out when those are done. Okay, so I think I'm good. Oh, yeah, the reinforced thruster. Logistics vessels. Okay. Realize transmitter. Okay. Is that so? What's the point of the logistics drones versus logistics vessels? I feel like I'm missing something there. So we definitely need to get the logistics online so we can figure out what in the world is going on. So do we need anything else? We got tons of belts. We could even pick up more. Like, we have so many belts. All right, we're gonna get like 1,000 belts. We're gonna have. I got some of these are used in some structures. I'm gonna get rid of the coal. So it's good to have these little boxes around, like in line, because if I can find it, here we go. And then this particular one, oh, I haven't set this one yet. So this is one that I'm like, okay, maybe I'll set this to 0 because I don't know that I want to keep coal on me ever. Have that go out. And then that way, if I ever get extra coal, I can just throw it in that box. And then what's this thing? Stone. Alright, so let's go throw away some stone. And by throw away, I'm going to throw it in a box. I don't think I have a stone box, actually. I have a refined stone box. Alright. Feels bad, but I'm going to throw it away because I don't want to I don't want to have to keep track of that. Alright. Let's go. Let's head out. We're gonna go. I hope we have everything we need. Alright, let's go. Out of the atmosphere. Alright, probably helps to know where we're going. Okay. Where else for? Where are we? Oh, we're still in sail mode. Where we're going? Alright, should be coming up. Yep, okay. Alright, power away from the planet. Alright, yep, pulling away. Trying to avoid the gas giant too. Alright, turn. Point us there. W. And then shift. On tab to do that. Alright, and then we're going 750. Is about how fast I like to go without consuming all my fuel. And the hydrogen fuel rods are so much better than the other fuel rods because this will actually recharge at a decent rate. Cool. Alright, throw another can of those in there. All right. And we're gonna go to this new planet. So I haven't been to this planet before, but this is the one that has the fire ice that we need. So I hope I brought all the materials I need. Thinking of which, yeah, did I even bring stuff for power? I brought the power poles, but how about, you know, solar panels? I can make some. Yeah, that's why I keep a little bit of silicon on me. And I should probably automate solar panels, honestly. Oh yeah, and these were, I should have brought a stack of those with me. Oops. Oh, but I did bring my my emergency power. Oh yeah, that was another thing I did offline, guys. Is I actually ended up removing all the thermal power stations from my home planet, just because they were, you know, they're chewing up coal, and with all the solar panels they have there, don't really need that anymore. So I think that's actually, I think, kind of a cool idea, is that you use the thermal to kind of jumpstart your power on a new planet until you can get the more sustainable stuff online. So I think that's what I'm gonna have to do here. Man, this thing is far away. I'm going like 850 now, though. All right. I mean, it is the furthest orbit out here, so I mean, it makes sense. All right, we're gonna do the same thing again, where we're not even gonna slow down. We're just gonna crash into the planet, and the mech's gonna be fine. So here we go. And then, so again, the reason we're here is the chemical plants. And can I make more? I feel like I probably should have made more already. Chemical plant. It looks like that. This takes, ooh, we didn't bring much of this stuff, but we're gonna make stuff. Okay. Ooh. Love it. Alright, we made it. Alright, titanium and iron, and there's the fire ice. Alright, how much fire? There's like 5 million fire ice. Okay. So there's a fire ice there. Where are we? We are here. We are near this titanium ring. I'm gonna move there just so I'm somewhere. Okay, so there's fire ice, and there's fire ice. Okay. And then, is there coal on this planet? There is. Wow, very little coal. I was gonna say we could use the coal for the power, and I guess we should. There's just not a lot of it, but it's over here. Okay, let's go get us some coal. All right, there's the coal. All right, so let's get coal up and running. So that way we'll have power. Actually, and another thing I didn't really prepare was, shit, of course, I needed those magnetic coils for gatherers, mining machines. And so this is what happens when you're not prepared. You're just excited to go and do things, and screwed. Alright, but it's okay, because only one mining machine is enough to get all the coal, because that's how little coal there is. But we definitely want to use our other two for this fire ice. So we're definitely going to do that. Alright, so I'm going to say there. I'm going to say, ooh, we can get a lot, maybe here. Sure. Okay. Perfect. Alright, that is all our miners, unfortunately. And we're going to do power. Power here. And we're going to do generators. Actually, alright. Come out here and just, I don't know, go on a line, doesn't matter, because all the power is going to go right there. And what's north-south in this? I'm actually pointed north. Well, my camera's facing north, I should say. That's rare for me. Alright. Cool. Silly question. Yep, you can put that in there. Okay. So I'm using the fuel rods, which is another great use of those. Alright, so now we got power. And I'm going to take these back. Now we're only running on coal, which is fine. And we're going to have power. Wow. Because of the ice planet, you can barely see the dotted line to see like what's going on here. Okay. All right. And okay, yeah, and power generates its own power, so it's working fine. All right. Now this thing can recharge me, and that just uses, that's basically using coal at this point. All right, so we're gonna mine this Tesla tower and this Tesla tower. All right, and then let's have it go, I don't know, off. This looks like a big open area here. Oh, hey, we got move speed. All right, go research. All right, we're gonna come out here and then over and around. And then, no, one more. And then this is gonna go this way. Alright, is it? Oh, they just need to do that. I assume this is working, but we won't know for sure until it's all connected and we start using it. Alright. So what are we doing with this fire ice? We are making things. Alright, so we are landed on another planet. Alright, so I think the next thing we're going to do is get the fire ice truly getting going. So at least we've started. We're here. Because I'm going to go ahead and call this video here. And so guys, so now when we come back, we're going to actually mine. So we got the fire ice mining, and we're going to set it up so that we can get the graphene. And that's going to be the last thing we need for the logistics stations. To get that underway, because that's what's used for the particle containment. That's the only missing resource I have now for those. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.